A successful, inclusive process requires planning, patience, and intentionality. So the policy applies to all city department hiring. So any manager who's hiring when filling full-time, part-time, seasonal, or temporary positions. And the goal is to fill vacancies with the most diverse candidate with the appropriate skill set and motivation available from all candidates. And it's about how do we create a community that is inclusive and an environment that attracts and allows candidates to understand our commitment to diversity from their interest level before they even apply. Dolores and her team will actually redact names and identifying information of each candidate to help in reducing the bias. And with diversity, when you're looking to increase diversity, setting a quota is not a good practice because it might get us into some legal troubles, right? We're not looking to fill a quota. We're looking to close the gap of disparities. So while we're not setting specific goals, this process helps us in truly getting to the qualified candidate, right? And folks cannot say, oh, we lowered our standards to get more diverse candidates. Not at all. So once you've selected and identified the candidates to be interviewed, the chair would share that with Dolores, who would be sure we have the minimum diverse candidates just to be sure that we're working towards increasing representation and diversity. But once you've identified the candidates and you've been approved for your shortlist, you would then initiate the interview process. And so what will grant you the approval? So when you select your list of candidates, we want to be sure that you are meeting the diverse candidate metrics in one of two ways. We either want to see 30% diversity represented within your pool, or at least one BIPOC, so that's Black, Indigenous, person of color, and one female represented in that pool. And once you have your initial interview, if you're going to second round or third round or what have you, we'll check those metrics along the way. Because I do want you to understand that as we're going through the hiring process, we may be asking you to take a second look, go back and be sure you're finding a qualified candidates that help meet that metrics of either 30% representation or one BIPOC and one female in. There may be some exceptions. We want to make sure that we do this in a timely fashion. We want to make sure that you have the diverse candidates. If we've seen that all avenues have been exhausted and we still are not able to meet one of those metrics, that is a decision that would be made between Dolores and I and the chair to determine that we've exhausted all strategies and pathways, and there's an urgency or time has been exhausted enough that we may decide, okay, we're going to allow the process to continue. Okay, so it does slow down the process, but that is an intentional strategy in the process. And work to deliberate on a short list for candidates that you'd like to identify as a primary hire. And then you also want to make sure that you're assessing the reasons for eliminating other candidates. Make sure that you understand why and that you can justify based on the criterias and the performance that as a group you've come to determine as the best candidate. So definitely we will require that you then communicate the results of the committee search to Dolores so that we can move to the offering, job offering and onboarding process.